Hey kids, the program you're about to listen to contains some adult situations, adult language, themes, and other adult topics. If you're easily offended, this show's not for you.
Naughty Pops. Are you looking for lollipops with adult shapes for any special occasion? Bachelor, bachelorette parties, gag gifts, and more? They have tons of gourmet flavors that are shipped right to your door. Order yours today at www.naughtypopsnow.etsy.com and tell them Krazy Truth sent you.
Hey, you crazy motherfuckers. Welcome back to another edition of Crazy Truth. Yeah, I'm fucking around while you're doing the ads. That's right. Well, that's what we do. Oh, boy, we're here. We're ready to roll.
We are.
You know what? Here's what's really neat. You know how we normally start the show with a sex story?
You don't have one?
Not like one that was in the news.
Oh, we have a better one?
We've got it. Yeah, hold on. I gotta adjust my
Is it
my,
you or
my
is
dick.
it me?
It feels like I gotta adjust my dick.
Well,
My mouth.
you have to aim it just right. Find the right hole.
Speaking to my microphone.
Jeez.
Yeah, no. So, yeah, no, I don't really have a sex story. Something like in the news. But here's the thing: if you want to hear a really cool story, we can talk about we can talk about all kinds of different sex. We can talk about trampoline sex stories. We can talk about.
Do you have some?
I do.
Oh, I know you
I do. You know, actually, I'm going to tell a unique story tonight. Be on the lookout if you're in Iowa, and you are at the world famous Bone Stock or Nomapalooza, and you take your clothes off to have sex on a trampoline, you don't get them all back. Okay, so that's right. So there is currently someone that has taken my underwear from about 2 years ago, and it has went on a world tour. We'll post pictures. It has went to Jamaica. It's went to all over the place. Which, by the way, if you're going to be in a swingers party, make sure that you actually don't wear the underwear that your mother told you never to wear in case you got in a wreck. Because the pair I wore that night were the ones that had holes in them and really comfy and shit. Yeah, they've been all over the world.
You were supposed to change once we got there.
I was going to.
You didn't.
But then I had sex instead, and now my underwear travels the world. And the same, it's kind of like the Hamburglar or something. The same person just this weekend.
You assume.
I'm pretty damn sure my underwear is going to be accompanied by by one of my new shirts or by one of my shirts because I can't find it. Every time we go to Iowa, and I mean it's worth it because it's fun.
You're like, where'd I put my shirt? We can't find it. We'll find it in the morning.
Yeah, so
it's nowhere.
So there you go. When you go to a swingers party, be on the lookout for clothes thieves.
There you go.
As long as they wear some.
Don't you keep track of your clothes?
No shit. How many parties did we go to and I lost some article like socks, underwear, shirt, shoes, pants? I've lost shit every time I go.
You've lost pants?
I've lost pants. I'm good that way. All right, so there's the sex story. Don't worry. Next one we'll have.
You've lost ties.
I've lost ties. I've lost belts. Next time we'll have a real sex story that is real because it's really happening to me. We'll give you an update on where my shirt travels to in the near future. But we're gonna get right into questions.
You have to find your shirt first and who has it.
No shit. We'll see who comes forward. Okay, so other than clothes thieves, so we're gonna get right into it. We've got a couple of really, really unique questions today. Okay, so there's something we do different on the Crazy Truth than everybody else does. We take on the questions that a lot of people they don't have the balls enough to take on.
There you go.
Okay, because it's not necessarily just sexy. It's like, no, we're ready to do this shit, okay? So the first question, this comes from, again, out in Utah. There you go. All right, so here it is. I have a blind friend who is interested in the lifestyle. They were wondering how people with disabilities are treated, how's the accessibility of events, and are there special rules in place or safety precautions in place? We're going deep right off the bat, man. Wow. Hail Mary, motherfuckers. Here we go. Okay, well, first, let's start with this. Fucking rock on and kudos for just because someone has a medical condition or a medical situation, that should not preclude them from being in the lifestyle.
Correct.
Okay, so we have seen, we know our own personal experience, we know a couple of folks that are paralyzed. Mm-hmm. We know a couple of folks that are amputees, and we haven't specifically. I have not known anyone specifically that's blind in the lifestyle.
I don't either.
So, but
Obviously, if you don't, I don't.
unless you've
What
been
the
swinging somewhere else.
Sorry.
I thought you were going to the store. Man, I was wrong. That's cucumbers. Why do we have so many cucumbers? But we've known people that have had other medical conditions that have insulin pumps and ostomies and the whole 9 yards. So, in terms of number one, in our opinion, and here let's start with this. Actually, I'm gonna fucking go straight on a limb on this right off the bat. Okay, here's the deal. For anybody who's listening, this is just our opinion. Just our opinion. Okay, so if you don't agree with it, number one, fuck off. Send us a letter. We'll read your hate mail on the air. Number two, it's just our opinion.
It is.
Okay, so we got to get all the bullshit out of the way right off the bat. Okay, so first and foremost, the lifestyle in theory is supposed to be non-judgmental. So
Supposed to be.
Hey, let's put on a body shaming meme. So the thing is that we wanted for someone to have a medical condition, that should never preclude somebody from being alive. That should not even be. That should not even be a fucking reason for someone to even vaguely consider not getting into the lifestyle. Now, I think, and I think you'll agree with me, there's two schools of thoughts here, right? There's two levels of responsibility that go with this. There is the level of responsibility of the individual, because the individual does have some responsibilities on things to make sure that their experience is everything they want it to be, which includes their safety, their all that. Okay, and then there's expectations on the host or club or whatever, right? So, which one do you want to start with? You want to go clubs or you want to go individual?
Well, clubs should be pretty cut and dry, so go with that one because
Okay.
they should cater to everybody. But
If they have their heads out of their ass. Okay, so with a club, yes, number one, a club should be, it's going to have to abide by all the regular, or should, all the regular laws, applicable laws with accessibility and access for anyone. So, look, if you're going to a sex club and they don't meet the regular building codes like any other building or any other business, then you have a fucking problem. Okay, you might want to reconsider whether or not you want to go to that club.
well, now that I think about it, we went to one where there were stairs to get to a bathroom, and there's no way that a person in a wheelchair can go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That just dawned on me.
Yeah. You would think, or to the playroom.
That's true.
That's the whole thing. So, okay, number one, as a club, if you're running a business, run a business smart. Make it accessible for everybody. I mean, because there's some really, really, really cool people that here's the deal. Some of their friends and some of their friends that don't have a medical condition probably aren't going to go somewhere that they can't, that's not accessible for their friend. I wouldn't. I'd be like, no, fuck you. Okay. So make sure that it should be accessible all the way across the board. I think that it's important if you have special needs accordingly that depending on how the club is set up, you probably should let them know if there's special needs that you need to know about. The other thing would be obviously, depending on what the situation is, going to a club with somebody is always a good idea. I mean, here's the deal. You should go to the club with somebody, especially if you're a female, anyways. I mean, going to a club by yourself can be a scary thing. There's safety things there as far as that goes. But if you're going with, you have to understand if you have certain special, you have certain, and smile for the camera.
Like it's right at me.
If you have special needs along those lines, so make sure that either you have somebody there that can help you out, whatever. But as a business, get a hold of that club first to confirm that they have anything that they are accessible all the way across the board.
Right.
Make sure that they have that and get a hold of them. A club should be able to tell you, yes, hey, we are all set up. We do have this this will work, or here are our limitations. Okay, so obviously, if it's not a club, if it's like a private party, a private house event,
ask them.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Ask them. Don't not only just ask them, but hopefully, if your host is invited, host or hostess have invited you, they already know
Right.
that you might have some special requirements. Okay, but if not, let's say it's going through a friend of a friend, call them and ask them, because obviously a personal home isn't going to have the same, they might not have the same equipment accordingly that they need that a business is required to have. But again, it's about communication. If you talk to people and say, hey, look, here's the deal, these are some of the things that I need, people are going to work with you as far as that goes. That kind of addresses the more like obvious. We're talking to somebody that maybe is in a wheelchair or something along those lines, has a very obvious, some special circumstances that they need. When you switch over to the individual, and look, when you go into an individual, there's all kinds of different medical conditions that people have, and one thing to keep really in mind, I think, for those that are fortunate not to have a medical condition, you know what, if people, even just in their regular day-to-day lives, if they have an ostomy, okay, for example, they're self-conscious about those things. It takes a shit ton of courage to want to take and get in a lifestyle where there's going to be nudity and there's going to be sex with people that you don't know or you don't know very well, to put themselves out there with something that maybe people don't understand. So keep that in mind. The courage to do something like that takes more courage than just you and me deciding, hey, I think we're going to make this leap to go fuck some other people. Okay, because it is what it is. It's kind of a common sense thing. But as an individual, when you take and if you're going to, if you're in the lifestyle and you have something again like an ostomy, like I'll say like an insulin pump, something along those lines, the reality of it is, it doesn't do really, really well for you to take and surprise someone with that. Okay, so it's important, and again, communication. It's important to maybe explain that situation, to explain that here's the situation. This is what I have. I have X, Y, Z, and I have an insulin pump. And the reason you're doing that is, look, if you just catch somebody off guard completely, a lot of times people's reactions, they're going to react surprised, and that's going to make everything tense for everybody across the board. Okay, so there's nothing wrong with saying, look, here's the situation. This is what I have. It doesn't mean that the very first words out of your mouth have to be, "Hi, I'm Cole. Want to check out my medical device?" No, it doesn't have to be like that. But as the course of the conversation, let them know. And quite possibly, I mean, again, this is just our opinion, but quite possibly, it might be something that before the sex part, or you even get to that part happens, that you might want to show it to them. You might want to, if it moves along, so that they have a better understanding of, because remember, they don't have one, so they don't know. It's new, it's foreign, it's different to them. They don't want to do anything to fuck it up, right? So maybe show it to them. Have that communication with them about it. Now, if someone says, if for whatever reason that's a deal breaker, they're out. You can't be butthurt about that as the individual. You just can't be. You can't get all worked up and all pissed off about that, because again, remember, everybody isn't everybody else's cup of tea. So some people might not like me because I'm a fat guy, right? I've got man boobs, so they might be like, "You're out." All right. I still have a dick. No, my man boobs are they're not hanging down here.
No, I was looking.
I've got a love tire. So I mean, some people, that's going to be the reason. I can't get pissed off, because of that, or maybe somebody's not going to like you because you're a Smurf. You're short, so somebody, you can't help it. Okay, my man boobs, I could probably do something about. That'd be a lazy fuck. But I mean, you can't do anything about your height. But if someone really doesn't want to take and have sex with a short girl, can you get all upset? No. Can you help it? No. Can you grow? No. Can you grow?
I wish.
So understand that it's the same thing. Some people just might not be comfortable with working with that. Okay, and I think this even goes even further because I think you see it more and more. We've had this breast cancer. Okay, so we've hooked up with a couple. We've hooked up with a couple of different couples.
Couple.
Sometimes you feel like a nut. So some of the couples that are breast cancer survivors, they've had mastectomies. They've had some different things along those lines. So when they play, there's a comfort level that they still leave on a top or a bra or whatever the case may be. So the thing is that understand if you have a medical device, there may be, I know like with ostomies, they have special ones to be intimate with and things along those lines. So there may be some things that you can do like that to help. I won't say minimize it because that sounds bad, but make it that it's...
Well, they're going to do what they're comfortable with doing.
Right, that what they're going to be comfortable with, what the other person's going to be comfortable with. And again, if that's the deal breaker, okay, it is what it is. Don't get butthurt. It is. And the example she uses with somebody being blind, that's a totally different thing. I got to tell you, and this is not to be a smart ass or to be a dick or anything else. I actually believe that because I used to be in sales, okay, and I knew some of the very best salespeople that I knew were blind.
Okay.
And the reason for that was they never pre-qualified anybody. They didn't have their sight, so they didn't look at someone and go, oh, they'll never be able to buy anything. I almost wonder what an advantage that could be in the lifestyle because we talk about it all the time, right? Personality. And we all say it, but here's the deal. It's easier to wait and talk to somebody to find out how good their personality is if they're attractive. Because, well, I mean, think about it. If it's somebody that you just deem, and there's no fucking nice way to say it.
Eye contact across the room.
Well, yeah, exactly.
I mean, literally.
Well, think about that. What a meet and greet that would be. I mean, and again, we're not making fun. I'm just saying overall, but if everybody walked in, as soon as you walked in the room, you were put a blindfold was put on you. You were taken to a table, and it was like I'll say almost like a speed dating thing. So people would be led to each table, but everybody's blindfolded. So the only thing you're going to have is personality. Wouldn't that be amazing?
That's a light bulb go off in your head. That's a good party idea.
Yeah, I mean.
What about the blind person's safety?
Well, and that's the thing. So if we can take and actually focus on personality, wow, what a win! Now, and again, this is another part of our question. This is huge. Safety. We always talk about safety, right? Safety. Some of it is the rules still apply. The same rules apply all the way through. Okay, obviously, knowing some of the people you're there with, having the buddy system in play a little bit. I mean, that's always going to be something that's important. If you're a host or a hostess, I would think just as a general rule, you would try to look out for those situations a little bit. I think that if you're a club, there are ways to, every club does this. It's a big thing is to do like a kind of a mini tour a little bit. Okay, so maybe with someone that's blind is that you're going to want to, number one, slow down and actually give a better tour would be awesome. And you know what? Somebody's going to know them. Even if you just know them casually, kind of watch out and help each other. I mean, really, the safety thing goes even beyond just with a medical condition. If we would all spend a little more time watching out for each other versus trying to fuck people over, I mean, just in life in general, think about that. If we all went, hey, you know what? hey, this person looks a little lost. Hey, how can I help you? Or hey, this person looks a little new. Hey, who are you? How are you? Whatever. Wow, wouldn't that kick ass? So that's kind of the same thing that applies. Obviously, just fucking be good to people. Show some fucking love. It's swinging, for Christ's sakes.
Treat them like human beings.
Wait, what?
I know.
That's fucking weird.
They're normal just like everybody else.
Well, and here's the other thing, both for the people with medical conditions and for the rest of us. Here's the deal. I don't care how old we are, right? There's questions. There's going to be questions. You remember this question. You remember this. Remember the first time we ran into the couple where that he was an amputee? And you were like, okay, I got to ask this. How does this work? How does this work? Because he has a prosthetic leg. And here's the thing. He laughed, but he was more than happy to answer the question. And I actually think if we'd had more time, he'd been more than happy to show you. He was actually, the plan was to actually show you and do a demonstration on how that would actually work. Just saying. But, you know what? Don't be afraid to ask. And don't be offended if people do ask. I'd rather have someone ask. Oh, I gave a bad example with me because I said fat. I had man boobs. But, you know, how long have you had those man boobs?
I don't think they get offended if people ask because
No.
they'd rather have people ask than try to guess.
Or to avoid them. I mean, seriously, again, in theory, notice we say that a lot on this show. In theory, we're all adults. And you know what?
Because you're always going to have that one person.
Well, I mean, we've asked on a friend of ours, you know, when we first met him, that was in a wheelchair. I mean, we've asked, how does it work? I mean, we figured, but
Paralyzed from the waist down, I'm like, so can he play?
yeah, exactly.
And the wife was like, well, it takes a little bit longer to get him up. But once you do, you get on top and go for a ride.
And the thing is
rock
that,
on.
And if I remember right, he was stoked that you wanted to know. I mean, because that's just it. Is that here's the deal? They want to play, and they're in it for the same reason we are. Guess what? I don't know of anybody that's in the lifestyle solely for the purpose of hanging out and not talking to anybody or not having sex. Some stretches it feels like I am, but for the most part, that's not generally the case.
And we've had one guy that came up to us and told us about having an insulin pump.
Yep, that's
and
right.
how people were like, I don't want to have sex with you because that scares me. Well, get to know what it is.
Yeah, well, that's
ask
just,
questions. Can I see it? What does what? Okay, can I hurt it? Can I pull it out? What happens?
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is that we even ask them. That's one of the things we said is, you know what? Talk to them about it. It's an education thing. I mean, once people see that it is nothing more than just a part of you, and they become comfortable with it, then pretty much it can be overcome. But you have to know that, and that's what you know.
I think he said that to me to see what my reaction would be.
He did, and that's the
I was
thing.
like,
it was
okay.
it was like to see if there was a shock, because as he said, he'd had so many people that like everything was going great, and then when they brought that up, it was like boom, instant night and day switch. Part of that's presentation. Life is about presentation. Okay, so you know if you present it like, hey, okay, I know me. If I had something like that, I would be a total smartass. I would be like, by the way, I'm part robot. Dun 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 dun. You know, I mean, I would do something stupid because that's how I deal with everything.
Yeah.
Is to try to crack a joke with it. Because if I can make you laugh, then I think I'm going to get laid. Worked for 26 years with you. But no. So the thing is as you make people feel comfortable with it, they'll become comfortable.
The one that said that he can pop his eye out, I said, please don't.
Okay, that scared the hell out of me. I'm not even going to lie.
I'm like, do not do that. I'm like, it comes out. Oh, yeah. I go, no, leave it.
Because he's like, I can put different ones in. It's really cool.
No, don't.
I saw him do it with other people.
Oh, serious?
Oh, yeah. And you know what? He would die laughing every time I did it.
Well, he has surgery, so it won't come out.
Yeah, he had surgery now, but the thing was, he did all kinds of tricks with it.
I did not see that. I don't know.
Yeah, but that's awesome because you know what? He had taken something that could have been a total like confidence killer, mood, and this motherfucker gets laid.
Yeah, he does.
I mean, this number one, he usually starts off with, "Hey, you want to see my dick?" and he's got a seal killer, but he, he's personal. But I've seen him. He's like, "Hey, you want to see something funny?" And he went, popped the back of his head and popped his eye out. He could do like party tricks with it, but it totally. Before it was over, people were going, "Oh!" But before it's over, they're laughing, and then guess what? And then he's getting fucking laid like a champ.
Hey, if it works for you, it works for you.
Oh shit! There you go. We're not advocating doing that, but I mean, whatever fucking works for you, we don't care. Okay, so here's the thing. You know what? As you guys listen to this, and if you have other situations, other comments, I want to take a minute here, and I'm going to make sure that when you watch this on YouTube, that our email will come up. If you have other experiences, or you personally have a medical condition, and you have other ideas, things that we should have hit on, or things that you think for a follow up, fucking send them to us. Because here's the deal: we're fortunate we don't have a situation. So if somebody does and you got something that works for you, fucking let us know. So we'll make sure. Hold on. This is where the pause comes in. Okay, so when you watch this on YouTube, our email is going to come up. Send that to us because we'll take and read that on the air. Okay? All right, cool. Well, look at us go. Okay, so question. All right, so actually.
Perfect time.
Perfect time. Dun, dun, dun. Now, a word from our second half sponsor. Club G, where friends and pleasure come together. Come visit Club G, the hottest new lifestyle club in Des Moines. Over 3,200 square feet, huge dance floor, private play areas, and plenty of places for quiet conversation. Club G. Contact them for more information at dsmlsc01@gmail.com. All right, welcome back. All right, so the next question. Are you done? You good? You had the whole commercial break to take a drink.
Sorry.
All right. So
it's last minute. It's the last minute urge. We all
God, I'm so thirsty.
It wore me out.
It's because you were deep throating the microphone during the commercial.
I was.
We'll do that on the next episode.
Y'all wanted to see me get executed. You want to look?
No, I didn't want to see that. I said that was a possibility.
No, it's not. People spitting it all the time.
That's why we use microphone condoms.
Okay.
Okay. Anyways, all right. So the next question. The question comes to us from New York. Woo!
I was going to break out in song, but everybody prefer I not.
That's why I was waiting for that. Okay. So the question is, this question comes to us from Anonymous. I have never met Anonymous. But anyways, comes to us from Anonymous. And the question is, they're having a party. They're having a big party. And there are going to be a wide mix of people there. There's going to be people that are primarily kinksters, so this is their first swinger event. There's going to be swingers there that this will be their first exposure to kink, and there's going to be some that are in between. Now they have let everybody knows that there's going to be a mix of things. Okay, so it's not like anybody's walking into this blind. The question then becomes, what's the best way for the host and hostess to host and hostess. I'm thinking of host and hostess to introduce the kink and the swingers to make everybody feel comfortable. They want to be able to introduce the kink and the kinksters and what they do to the swingers and vice versa. So everybody's comfortable with it, because for some people there'll be a few that know both worlds, and for the others it's going to be worlds apart. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a really good question, because one of the things you're starting to see more and more in the lifestyle now is there is more of a coming together of kinksters and swingers.
Right.
It used to be so that those two groups just didn't intermingle, and now it's starting to be something that's pretty common. And we're big on no kink shaming, and that we fully believe in integrating both kinksters and swingers. Mm-hmm. Because you discover cool things that you might want to try, or you might want to do. So, okay. So the first thing is, and I didn't get to talk to him a lot about, what types of kink that they were bringing in, but it sounds like there was going to be some of your usual suspects, some rope play, some knife play, some, nothing of the really, really hardcore kink or the real taboo kink, but just almost what you'd call more some of the normal kink, or what swingers would think of as more normal kinks. There's going to be some paddles. There's going to be some floggers. There's going to be some things like that. So, okay, so you have dove slowly. We've kind of made that transgression a little bit more and more into BDSM. You've made more of a transition into BDSM light.
I was going to say, it's very light compared to other people.
But you've went into it a little bit more than I have. You started to make that transition, or it's kind of slowly starting to become part of our play as well. So for like you, how did you start to get comfortable with it? Because when we first started in the lifestyle, let's face it, we watched the shows and whatever, and we're like, whoa, that stuff's weird. I mean, when we first got in 9 years ago, knife play would have been like, what? No, you gotta be kidding me.
You have to have somebody explain it to you.
Explain, and I think show.
And thoroughly, and then show.
Right. So, so in a party situation like this, I mean, no one's there for, everybody's there to have a good time. I mean, the ultimate goal is to have people to have sex or kink or both, obviously. So it's not so much that you're making it like a seminar, but
to a degree you are.
To a degree. So, but the best thing is you got to have demonstration. No one wants to sit there and just like read about it.
No.
Demonstrations are like a really good way to get stuff started.
Maybe before you actually have the party bringing them together, you can bring some of the more not necessarily well known, but trusted in certain areas of kink,
right,
to show those who have not been exposed to it what they do and explain it while they're doing it.
Okay, so but you think before the party, or do you think like, because I mean, I don't know. Let's say
depends on how they did the party. Because you could have like your icebreaker, and then you can go in this room if you're interested in.
Okay.
Then this person would be more than happy to tell you about that type of play.
So you think maybe they'll keep them separate, not just like, hey, everybody's here in front of the whole big group?
I don't necessarily think so. Well, I know some people that have been exposed to that, but sometimes it can scare the crap out of them.
But we saw that. We saw that with knife play. And
that was a demonstration.
It was a demonstration, but there was a whole lot of people wanting to try it afterwards. I mean,
yeah.
if you remember, okay, so
I more took the girl aside and said, okay, what was he doing with the knife? What was he shaking it? Was he poking?
Right.
What was he doing?
Right, because it was pretty cool. Because when we saw that, it was at a party. Everybody knew the person that does knife play and had complete trust. But you could have heard there was like, there was almost 100 people there, and you could have heard a pin drop. Like everybody quit talking and was just intently watching what was going on. And he wasn't explaining what he was doing as he was doing. He just literally was doing it on a gal. She agreed to, you can do it in front of people. And people got to see it. And then he got a whole bunch of questions afterwards. So, I mean, for me, I think that if you have it too separated, it's easy to go, oh, yeah, there's no way I'd like that. And you might be less apt to even try.
That's true.
Where if it was more like, hey, we're going to, some people are going to do this, or I think you're right with the party. Once you do the icebreaker, then kind of let people, start playing or whatever they're going to do. Because remember, you're going to also have they said they have some kinksters there that this is their first swinging event.
Oh, that's true.
So you want to make sure that they also, because they're going to have questions about the swinging lifestyle. One of the things that we've learned, because we know a lot of kinksters and we've talked to them, is that you can't just assume people go, well, they understand what swinging is because it's just about having sex. Because it's not. Like, for a lot of what we've learned, a lot of the kinksters, they don't play with anybody but their set partner in their kink. So their confusion is, or they're like unknown, is they're like, holy shit, you take and have sex with somebody totally different? How can you do that? That's like totally bizarre. So they're going to want to kind of watch to see how other couples start to intermingle and how that kind of leads to sex. So if you kind of just everybody has the party just kind of starts and it naturally starts to unfold a little bit, and then people can watch and see what they want. Maybe somebody does rope play, but they want to watch, two couples start to do a swap. So you want to make sure to do that as well. But I liked one of the things I agree with is maybe you can take, if you have people that there's certain types of kink there that are going to be there, have some of them put together an email you're going to send out to your guest list, just kind of explaining what some of it is.
Yeah.
Just the basic. Like, you don't have to go into huge details. I mean, you don't need like pictures and a manual, but to let people know, hey, there's going to be rope play there, there's going to be whatever, and a little bit about it. Because if you're new in the lifestyle, swinging or whatever, and you walk in and you see this pile of big ropes, you're like, what the fuck?
Now, when I first heard rope play, I thought it was always somebody suspending. Tells you how little knowledge I have.
Yeah. Well, we all.
I thought it would be somebody suspended from some apparatus.
Right.
But I have heard that they do that. And then the first time I actually saw it, it was just a gal standing there, and he wrapped her in all these cool knots and designs, and it was very artistic and very cool.
Well, okay, so
and she wasn't suspended.
Right, she wasn't hanging from anything. Weird. I always thought that, like with rope play or anything else, that then they tied him up, and then he fucked. See, I didn't understand that. For some people, for some kinksters, the sex, quote unquote, or the feeling of the sex is not sex, like fucking. Mm-hmm. It's the actual rope play itself. It's either the feeling of being tied up or the feeling of tying up. Like the guy that we know that does the knife play. He says he gets a euphoric feeling when he's performing knife play. Mm-hmm. That's like sex. So for a swinger, that's part of what swingers that aren't into kink don't always understand, is that there isn't, like, if you watch it, okay, when are they going to fuck? Well, they did. I mean, they've already experienced that. And for kinksters coming into the swinger world, it's like, the thing is that we do fuck. A lot of times swingers will use slight forms of BDSM as almost foreplay to actually lead into sex. Like, you like knife play.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you don't want to go and just, like, okay, after you're done doing the knife play, then you're ready to fuck. I mean, you don't have to.
I didn't do it as a sexual thing.
No.
I did it because I wanted to see what it was like. And it's like, okay, that's not bad.
But you're laying there naked and you've got people rubbing.
Okay, now what?
He's got rubbing on you. You're just like, okay, you're ready to, like.
Some of it, though, comes from books. These fictional books.
Play? What?
No, shush up. Fictional books that are written by people that don't have a whole lot of knowledge in it. So they always talk about all these different BDSM things, and then it leads to sex.
Well, okay, yeah. So I'll say the title. I don't care.
No, there's a bunch of them.
Okay, well,
it isn't just one. I've read multiple.
That's when you really started like reading.
I know. I like my smut.
You could cruise through one of those fast. No, and
no, there was one I read. It wasn't even that one. The whole series that was made into a movie. I read one that was strictly like hardcore BDSM club, and I mean it was hardcore, but it wasn't.
It wasn't realistic.
It was like went straight to sex.
Yeah, and so there's part of the problem right there, is that, again, hey, guess what? Just because it's on the internet doesn't mean it's true.
Or a book.
Or a movie doesn't mean it's true. So you have a lot of people that read those books and got all fucking, these chicks got all wet and drippy.
Ooh, let's try that. Ooh, I want to try that.
Yeah, and it sounds like a great thing, except for the fact that then you've got, hubby over here that has no fucking clue what he's doing.
Dangerous.
Well, and we laugh about that, but here's the deal. You take and shove the wrong thing up your ass in the wrong way, too hard, not carefully, not smart, not lubed up, not a whole kinds of things. That is how you make another TV show called Sex Sent Me to the ER. I mean, we laugh about that shit, but there's a reason that show exists because, yes, if you don't
You
know,
don't want to have sex with a camp stove?
I do not want to fuck a camp stove. I mean, it's a party when you're going to fuck the camp stove. But I mean, people don't get it. If you look at some of the tools and some of the instruments, tools. If you look at some of the things the what I don't even know what they're called, props, toys, things, hardware store. I don't know.
It's their toys.
It's their toys. When you look at some of those toys, some of this shit could do some serious damage if you don't know what the fuck you're doing.
It isn't even necessarily the toys. Hand placement.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Don't just wrap your hand across somebody's throat.
Okay, yeah,
you got lectured on that.
Well, we did. I didn't know. And like, Jesus Christ, man, you could accidentally like crush your windpipe. But if you don't know and you're just doing it, you're like, this is really hot. Yeah, it's hot till you kill her or till you get killed. I mean, one person let me try a bullwhip. You remember this? Just in the garage, not on anybody.
I was like, you tried to bullwhip on somebody? Holy crap.
And the first thing that he said, he said, yes. I said, do people actually use this? He goes, yes, people actually use these. I said, okay, so now the first thing, be careful, or when you crack it, it will come back and don't poke out an eye. And we were all laughing. And the first thing I did was crack that fucker and whap right back in the face. Just, he's like, he took the whip away from me. But he goes, you understand if you use this on somebody and you don't use it correctly, you are taking chunks of flesh. And it's like, oh yeah. So this stuff is kind of
Not that I'd want to take a bullwhip to somebody. That's just
no. I mean, but again, part of the fetish or part of the kink is not the whip; it's the sound. Mm-hmm. It's the sound. So when you're getting ready to have a party, if you put this kind of information in a basic email to somebody, hey, look, you know what? Part of it is texture, part of it is the sound, part of it is whatever. People are going to be a little more open-minded to it. Mm-hmm. By the same token, you need to do the same thing for the kinksters that are experience the swinger side of it for the first time. Because there's the misconception that swingers are dirty because we have sex with anybody, that there's no trust or there's no, that we're just randomly on a fuck express, a fuck train, that's what we're doing. But there's more to it than that, or a lot of times. So, if you help set the expectations for everybody so they're more realistic, so that they're already somewhat open-minded because they've agreed to come to a party where there's going to be a plethora, a buffet, if you will, of activities to partake in, right? Mm-hmm. So they're already open-minded a little bit more. You ever notice all my stuff leads to food?
Are you hungry?
We tape these things. I don't know. So, but I mean, so they're already somewhat open-minded, but then plan your party to help people have success with what they see. Mm-hmm. So let them know. Now, I guess the biggest caution thing I would throw out there is if it's something that's really a hardcore kink, maybe I don't want to say a fringe kink. You might not want to include something like that if you have real newbie, in the lifestyle, because it can be pretty intimidating. So, kind of keep that in mind. The other thing is, I would caution is don't make it so that the kinksters, that all they're doing the whole night of the party is quote unquote working.
True.
Because you know what, they're there. They want to experience obviously the kink that they enjoy, but they also are there to experience the other aspects of it. So they don't want to just be there the whole night and do nothing but put on a seminar and then leave. Mm-hmm. I mean, so you kind of want to make sure that the questions and everything, it's like, okay, enough with the questions. Let's get them on to doing what they want to do,
right?
A little bit as well. And then the other thing is, oh my God, please put in there, do not try this at home.
Yeah.
I mean, you shouldn't have to tell people that.
No, but you're better off to have one of them show you.
Yeah, I promise you, there have been people that have watched knife play. Because here's the deal, the knives, you know what they look like? Knives.
Mm-hmm.
Regular knives, pocket knives, kitchen knives. They're all, different weights and feels and whatever, but they're just knives. And I promise you, someone left to their own devices will go home and try that and cut the shit out of somebody.
I don't know. You let me try it on you.
I did let you try that on me. I did. That was but you were very careful. You were very careful, and I was very watchful to make sure you were being very. I wasn't super relaxed and enjoying the moment. I was pretty watchful. I don't know. The other thing though you want to include in that email, and this is really important also. Okay, and we learned this in a roundabout way. There's kind of like rules when you're watching it. When you're watching kink, like. It's not okay, and why do you have to tell people this? I don't know.
Because you do.
It's not okay to go up to somebody that's got like their bag of toys, paddles, whatever, and start digging through their shit and touching their stuff.
They get a little upset.
Yeah, that is like no, you don't just start touching their stuff. I mean, you shouldn't walk up to somebody that has a bag full of dildos and just start grabbing them out and touching it either. But definitely the gangster, you don't do that. And the other thing is, be quiet when you're watching. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you and I don't know, no one's ever said, "Hey, everybody really needs to be quiet with this."
No,
but it's kind of like
you heard some talking in the background,
but it was quiet whispers. Mm-hmm. It's you if you allow yourself to get caught in the moment and to really focus on what's going on in front of you, it's fucking hot.
Well, I have to say, even watching the rope play, everyone was quiet. Yeah,
everybody's because it's intriguing. You may not necessarily want to do it, but it's hot. Mm-hmm. It's intriguing, and if you just allow yourself to do that. So and it kind of comes from other things. It's respect, but then it's the same thing with if two couples or two people are fucking. You don't just walk up and slap your dick in the middle of it. Hey, here's my wiener too. I mean, people
never know.
People do that, but that's a fucking horrible way to do it.
Disrespectful.
It's disrespectful. So make sure that you're also showing your kinksters the right way to swing also. Mm-hmm. That's pretty good. Okay, so I don't have another question, but I think I wanted to touch on more just with kinksters and swingers. Because we're really fortunate, a big group that we hang out with out here in our neck of the woods, we have a lot of both.
Right.
And like our page that we run, we have one of the few pages we have a lot, and we encourage a lot of kinksters and swingers. We encourage both. Mm-hmm. Man, I can't stress it enough. Everything about the lifestyle, we do the lifestyle for like unique experiences, like a unique person. Like I want to do somebody different. Mm-hmm. Okay. Experiences are the same thing. Open your mind. Open your mind to at least look at or watch or listen to when somebody talks about some of these other kinks, because we know all varying degrees. We know some folks that they have a sub-dom relationship that is full-time. Mm-hmm. Is that for everybody? No, but it works awesome for them. And it's really cool to hear, to talk with them about it, because it's a unique experience, right? So just be open to seeing and experience what else is out there, instead of just automatically going, ooh, that's gross, or ooh, I'm not going to want to do that, or oh my God, I can't believe people do that. Give it a chance. Mm-hmm. Because you might find some part of it that you will absolutely love. I mean, I don't think people realize that, like the whole, hand on the throat thing, that's a form of a kink. Well, or maybe there's somebody on a podcast, like right here, real close, that, really gets off when somebody calls him daddy. just saying. Okay. Send me a card. But I mean, but that's a form of a kink, right? But it's something that for a long time we didn't do. When we were vanillas,
shoot, I don't know if I still call you daddy.
No, you don't as much.
Not as much as you want.
No. But the nice thing is that there's somebody that I play with regularly that does. So, and that's awesome. I'm trying to get you both to get necklaces that say "Daddy's Girl" on it. But all right. What a great place to stop, huh?
Perfect.
So, thanks again. This has been another episode, obviously, of Crazy Truth. Let's take just a moment, and you can start to thank our sponsors once again. Go get him, Miss Amanda.
Well, I didn't think you were done talking. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. It's hard to believe.
I know.
Yeah.
It is really
babble,
is.
babble, babble.
Okay. Are you looking for lollipops with adult shapes for any special occasion? Bachelor, bachelorette parties, gag gifts, and more? They have tons of gourmet flavors that are shipped right to your door. Order yours today at www.naughtipopsnow.etsy.com and tell them Crazy Truth sent you.
Good job.
Gee, thanks.
All right. We also want to do a big shout out to Club G, where friends and pleasure come together. Visit Club G, the hottest new lifestyle club in Des Moines. You can reach them, here we go, at dsmlsc01 at gmail.com. We got it right on the first time. Rock on. Awesome. Don't forget, guys, you can follow us all over the place. Make sure you follow us, on Facebook at Crazy Truth on our Facebook page. You can also follow us on our Instagram page. I want to let you do this, really do. But
No.
Our Instagram page, which is Krazy, Krazy, capital K, _ Kasbh, capital Kasbh. You can also follow us at Twitter, at My Thoughts Exactly, at Truth Crazy. Don't forget, you can also order our swag and merchandise at teespring.com, Crazy Kasbh. I'm forgetting something. Oh, you can follow us on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, at our Kasbh channel. And finally, if you like what you hear and you like Miss Amanda and me too, hopefully, feel free to support us at our Patreon, www.patreon.com/Krazy, capital Krazy, Kasbh, capital Kasbh. And finally, if you'd like to send us questions, comments, hate mail, love mail, we're open to suggestions or stories for the show, send it to our email at crazy.kasbh@gmail.com. All right, kids, doing it the only way I know how, the only way I want to, Kasbh style, out.
Bye, y'all.